12 seconds to decide if she was going to walk away, or finally tell him the truth she'd been hiding for 4 years. And the crazy part? The truth wasn't something small like "I like you." No, it was the kind of truth that rips open scars you buried deep. The kind you pretend doesn't exist because saying it out loud might break you all over again. 12 seconds. 12 heartbeats. 12 chances to rewrite everything. Before all this, before that, night at the train station where her whole world spun around in slow motion, you need to understand something about Maya. Because Maya wasn't the loud type. She wasn't the girl who talked too much or laughed too hard. She was the girl who held herself together with old pain and quiet strength. The girl who always stood at the back of the room and whispered, "I'm fine," even when she was cracking inside. And honestly, she thought love wasn't for people like her. Not after what happened when she was 17. Not after she learned that trusting the wrong person once can ruin your whole sense of safety. But life loves messing with people like that, because love didn't ask if she was ready, It didn't whisper politely. It didn't knock softly, It slammed into her one random Thursday afternoon. In the most ordinary place you could. Imagine a broken-down bus stop where the rain came down so hard it felt like the sky was having a breakdown. You ever notice how life waits until everything is going wrong before it throws the most important person your way? That's exactly what happened. She was standing there soaked, cursing the sky, shoelace untied, bag dripping like it just swam across town, when a guy walked up beside her and said the most unexpected thing. "Hey." You dropped your smile, and she actually looked down like he was pointing to something on the ground. He laughed. She rolled her eyes. The rain kept pounding, but something inside her chest twitched like a small light turning on after years of darkness. That guy was Caleb. Now. Caleb wasn't perfect. He wasn't smooth or overly confident or any of that fake movie stuff. He was the kind of guy who talked with his hands, apologized too much, and never quite knew what to do with his hair. But he had this warm energy around him, the type that made strangers open up without realizing it. And for some reason, Maya didn't pull away. But here's the twist. The thing she didn't tell him. Not that day, not the week after, not the year after. Caleb reminded her of someone. Someone she promised herself she'd never think about again. Someone who left a wound so deep she built walls tall enough to scrape the sun. And that's where the danger of this love story starts. Because Caleb wasn't supposed to mean anything to her. He wasn't supposed to be the guy who made her laugh until her stomach hurt. He wasn't supposed to be the one who remembered how she liked her tea, or called her out gently when she pretended she wasn't hurting. He wasn't supposed to feel familiar, but he did. And that familiarity scared her more than anything. She told herself it was a coincidence. The way he tilted his head when he was confused. The way he looked at her like she was worth listening to. The way he reached out, quietly, when she tried to shrink into herself. But coincidences don't shake your whole soul. Coincidences don't make your heart race and your hands tremble and your mind scream. No. Not again. Not this. Don't fall. Still, she fell. Piece by fragile piece. The only problem. Maya was hiding a secret. A secret Caleb didn't know existed. A secret that would blow up everything if he ever found out. And that brings us back to that night. The train station. The 12 seconds. The moment where the past she buried and the future she could have finally collided. She stood there, fingers shaking, heart pounding through her ribs like it wanted to escape. Caleb was right in front of her, looking at her the same way he had every day for the past 4 years. Gentle, steady, sure. "Are you okay?" he asked, voice soft, and that simple question. It nearly broke her, because Maya knew this was it. This was the moment she either told him the truth or lost him forever. What she didn't know, what she couldn't possibly predict, was that Caleb had a secret too. One that would destroy everything she thought she knew about love, fate, and the night that changed her life. And what happened next? Well, that's the part that will shock you. The truth is, if you had met Maya 2 years before she met Caleb, you wouldn't recognize her. Back then, she moved through life like someone carrying invisible luggage. Heavy. Quiet. She didn't laugh loudly. She didn't take risks. She definitely didn't let anyone get too close. Because when someone you trust breaks you at the roots, you don't grow the same afterward. But the world kept spinning. Rent kept coming. Her job needed her. And she learned to live around the pain instead of through it. That's why the day she met Caleb felt so strange. Not because he was charming or cute or anything dramatic like that, but because he saw her. Really saw her. Most people looked past her. Caleb looked into her. But before we get to the moment everything changed, you need to know the kind of man Caleb was. Caleb grew up in a small, noisy home with 3 siblings who never learned the meaning of inside voice. His mum was the kind of woman who hugged strangers, and his dad believed every problem could be solved with food. He never had a lot of money, but he had love. The loud, messy, overflowing kind. Maybe that's why he could read people so well. Maybe that's why he noticed the way Maya flinched when he asked simple questions, or the way she paused before answering like she was checking if her words were safe. He didn't push her. He didn't dig. He just stayed. And that was the beginning of everything. Their first real conversation happened a week after the rainstorm. Maya was sitting on a park bench during her lunch break, trying to breathe through a day that felt too heavy. Caleb walked up with his usual awkward smile. "Hey, you again," he said. "Are you following me, or am I following you?" She rolled her eyes, but her lips twitched because he always made her smile even when she didn't want to. He sat beside her. Close but not too close. "You okay?" he asked. And she tried to lie. She tried to say, "I'm fine," like she always did. But something about the way he looked at her, open, patient, kind, made her chest crack just a bit. "I'm tired," she whispered. And that was the first honest thing she had said to anyone in months. Caleb didn't give her empty advice. He didn't say, "Hang in there," or "You'll be fine." He just nodded and said, "Yeah, life gets heavy sometimes, but you don't have to carry it alone." That sentence, it stuck with her. It followed her home. It followed her to sleep. But the inciting incident, the moment everything in her life shifted, happened 3 months later. It was a Friday evening. They'd grown closer without meaning to. Late-night talks. Inside jokes. Moments that felt soft and dangerous. Maya told herself they were just friends because admitting anything else would force her to confront the fear she'd buried. That fate doesn't care about your plans. That night, Maya was walking home when her phone buzzed with a call from Caleb. "Hey," he said, sounding breathless. "Where are you?" "Heading home," she said. "Good, stay where you are. I'm coming to you." Her stomach dropped. "Caleb, what's wrong?" He hesitated, and for the first time since she'd known him, his voice cracked. "Please, just stay there." 2 minutes later, he came running up to her, face flushed, hands shaking, eyes filled with fear she didn't understand. He grabbed her shoulders gently but urgently. "You're safe, right?" he asked. "Yes," she whispered. "Caleb, what's going on?" He swallowed hard and pulled a folded piece of paper from his pocket. "Maya, someone left this on my front door." He handed it to her. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. There were only 5 words written on the paper. "Ask her about that night." Her heart stopped. Her vision blurred. Her lungs froze. Because she knew exactly which night it meant. The night she tried to forget. The night she promised herself she'd never speak about again. Her past wasn't just chasing her. It had found her. Maya. Caleb whispered. What is this? Who sent this? She couldn't breathe. Her world, the fragile little world she'd built around Caleb's kindness, started cracking fast. Not again. Not the past coming back. Not this man being dragged into something he didn't deserve. She tried to speak, but nothing came out. Maya, Caleb said softly, please talk to me. And that sentence, the same one he'd said months ago, broke her open. Not because he asked, but because in his voice she heard fear. Not fear for himself. Fear for her. She had spent years believing she didn't deserve a love that looked at her like that. That somehow, without trying, without planning, she had found it. Or maybe, just maybe, love had found her anyway. But the message wasn't the only thing Caleb was hiding. And Maya was about to learn that the person she trusted most was connected to the night she feared the most. Someone was watching them. And whoever it was, they didn't plan to stay in the shadows much longer. The note should have been the scariest thing about that night. But it wasn't. The real terror came from the look in Caleb's eyes. A look Maya had never seen before. Fear. Real fear. Like he knew something she didn't. Caleb, she whispered, tell me everything. From the beginning, he opened his mouth. But before he could speak, a car rolled slowly down the street. Headlights off. Windows tinted. Moving just a little too slowly to feel normal. Caleb noticed it too. Come on, he said, grabbing her hand. Let's go inside. Not here. They rushed into her apartment, locked the door, closed the curtains, shut off the lights. Maya stood in the middle of her living room, heart banging against her ribs. You need to talk, she said. Right now. Caleb ran a hand through his hair, pacing back and forth. I didn't want to scare you, he said. But this isn't the first message. Her stomach dropped. What do you mean? He pulled his phone from his pocket and opened his gallery. He showed her photos of 3 more messages he'd received in the past 2 weeks. Message 1. Does she know you're connected to him? Message 2. Truth comes home eventually. Message 3. She can't run from that night. Forever. Maya's knees almost buckled. Connected to him. The name she hadn't spoken in years. The name she erased from her phone. The name she ripped out of her life like a weed. Kamani. A person she once trusted. A person who broke her in a way she didn't think was possible. A person she prayed she'd never see again. How long have you been hiding this from me? She whispered. 2 weeks, he said, voice low. Why? Because I didn't want to lose you. The room went still. But before she could react, he added something that hit her harder than any message. Maya, I think whoever is sending these knows both of us. A cold rush swept over her skin. That doesn't make sense, she said. This is my past. Not yours. But Caleb didn't look convinced. He looked guilty. And that scared her even more. What aren't you telling me? She asked, stepping back. Maya. No. Tell me. He swallowed hard. Then he finally said it. I knew Kamani. The world tilted. Everything inside her went silent. No breath. No sound. Just the echo of that name sitting between them like a bomb. What? She whispered. Caleb nodded slowly, eyes full of regret. We grew up in the same neighborhood. We weren't close, but I knew him. I knew the things he did. I knew who he hung around. And when you told me your past was messy, I had this awful feeling that it was him. She finished. He nodded again. And Maya felt something inside her crack so loud she swore the room heard it. So all this time, she said, voice shaking, you knew I might be talking about someone you already knew, and you didn't tell me. I didn't want to bring up your trauma, he said, stepping closer. I didn't want to hurt you. You should have told me, she said, stepping away. He froze, and the way he froze told her he understood exactly how deep that sentence cut. But before either of them could speak, a loud bang hit her front door. Once, twice, 3 heavy knocks. Slow and deliberate. Caleb's face went pale. Maya's blood turned to ice. The knocking stopped. Silence wrapped around the room like a chokehold. Then her phone buzzed. A blocked number. She didn't want to answer it, but something in her gut told her she had to. She pressed accept. A familiar voice, one she prayed never to hear again, came through the speaker. Maya. Long time. Her breath caught in her throat. No, it couldn't be. It couldn't. She stepped backward until her back hit the wall. Caleb moved toward her, eyes wide, ready to protect her from whatever was on the other end. But how do you protect someone from a ghost they spent years running from? Maya's voice trembled. Kamani? A chuckle came through the phone. The same dark, mocking laugh she remembered from her nightmares. You didn't think I'd stay gone forever, did you? Caleb grabbed her hand, his grip firm but shaking. What do you want? Maya whispered. Oh, sweetheart, the voice said. It's not about what I want. It's about what I know. And trust me, Caleb has been keeping bigger secrets than you. Her heart dropped. Don't listen to him, Caleb whispered, but the voice continued. He didn't tell you how we really know each other. Did he? Maya's pulse hammered. Stop. Ask him who saved him the night everything went wrong. Caleb's face changed. Completely. He looked like someone just ripped open a part of him he'd buried. Maya stared at him, tears thickening in her eyes. What is he talking about? She asked. Caleb didn't answer. He couldn't, because whatever truth he was hiding, whatever past he shared with Kamani, was about to destroy everything they thought they knew about love, fate, and the night that changed Maya's life forever. And the worst part, the voice whispered one last sentence before hanging up. You were never just a coincidence. Maya, he knew you long before you met him. Caleb didn't speak for a full 10 seconds. 10 seconds isn't usually long in real life, but when they'd just been told the man you love might be lying about the single most painful night of your life. 10 seconds feels like the world is ending in slow motion. Maya could barely breathe. Caleb, she whispered, look at me. He didn't. He couldn't. His chest rose and fell in fast, panicked breaths. His hands shook so badly she thought he might drop his phone. Everything about him looked wrong, like his past had finally caught up with him, grabbed him by the throat, and dragged him into the open. Please, she said, voice cracking. Tell me he's lying. But Caleb didn't say yes. He didn't say no. He just whispered, Maya, I wanted to tell you. I swear I did. Her heart dropped to her stomach. Tell me what? And that was the second where he finally looked at her, and she saw it. The truth, the fear, and worst of all, the shame. Maya, he said softly. I was there. Everything inside her froze. There, the place she never wanted to remember. The night she tried to bury. The moment everything broke. Her ears rang. Her legs weakened. Her vision blurred around the edges. No, she whispered. No, Caleb. No, you weren't. You couldn't have been. I didn't know you back then, he said quickly. I didn't even see your face. I didn't know your name. I just... Stop, Maya shouted, covering her ears. She didn't want to hear this. She didn't want these words in her head. Not from him. Not from the person she finally felt safe with. Maya, tell me you weren't part of it, she cried. Tell me you didn't hurt me. I didn't, he yelled, voice cracking. I swear on my life, I didn't hurt you. I didn't touch you. I didn't know what they were planning. I swear to you I didn't know. But you were there, she whispered. His silence answered for him. Maya felt like she'd just been dropped into cold water. The room spun. Her stomach twisted. Her mind raced through memories she spent years trying to forget. That alley, that shouting, that fear, that moment she thought she wasn't getting out alive. And now the man who held her when she cried, the man who made her laugh again, the man who taught her what softness was telling her he'd been only feet away the night her life changed forever. She felt sick. Tell me everything, she said, voice shaking. No more hiding. No more protecting me. I want the full truth. Right now. Caleb closed his eyes, took a long, shaky breath and began. It was 2 years ago. I was walking home after work. Kimani and his friends were hanging outside the corner store. Like they always did. He called me over. Said he needed help with something. Maya swallowed hard. He asked if I could help him carry some stuff behind the building. I thought it was nothing. I thought he meant boxes or supplies. I didn't... He paused, breath hitching. I didn't know you were there. A tear rolled down Maya's cheek. I heard shouting, he continued. I heard crying. I didn't know what was happening until I turned the corner and saw you on the ground. Maya felt her chest cave in. Caleb's voice broke. I froze. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to help you, but Kimani pushed me back and said, mind your business. And you listened to him. Maya whispered. He dropped his head. I was scared. I was stupid. And I will hate myself for that moment until I die. Maya looked away, hugging herself like she was trying to hold her body together. Every memory of that night came alive again. The fear, the helplessness, the voices, the cold ground beneath her. But another memory surfaced too. Someone calling out, "Yo, man, chill." Someone stepping forward. Someone yelling at Kimani to stop. She had always thought she imagined that voice. A small piece of hope her mind invented to survive. But now she realized it wasn't imagined at all. It was Caleb. Did you try to stop him? She whispered. Caleb nodded slowly. Yeah, I yelled at him. I tried to grab his arm. He shoved me so hard I hit the wall. I was bleeding, but I still tried to get to you again. Maya pulled her knees to her chest. Why didn't you call the police? I did, he said desperately. I swear I did. But by the time they got there, you were gone. I looked for you for weeks afterward. I checked the hospital. I asked around. I thought... His voice broke. I thought you didn't survive. Maya pressed a hand over her mouth, a sob catching in her throat. Caleb stepped toward her, voice trembling. The night we met in the rain. I recognized your voice. I wasn't sure at first, but something in me knew. I didn't want to scare you. I didn't want to reopen your wounds. I wanted you to heal first. I wanted to protect you. And instead, Maya said softly, you protected yourself. Those words crushed him. Maya, I love you, he whispered. I have loved you from the moment I saw you alive in that rain. I thought fate was giving me a chance to fix the biggest mistake of my life. She shook her head, tears falling non-stop. Caleb, how do I trust you again? He didn't have an answer, and that silence broke her more than any truth. Right then, her phone buzzed again. The same blocked number. The same person pulling the strings. Her hand shook as she answered. Kimani's voice slid through the speaker. You ready for the real fun, Maya? Her heart stopped. I know where Caleb is right now, the voice whispered. And if you ever want to see him again, come alone. The line went dead. Maya's scream cracked through the room. Caleb grabbed her shoulders. What did he say? Maya, what did he say? She looked up at him, face pale, eyes hollow. He's coming for you. Caleb stiffened. And right then, right there, something exploded in both of their lives. This wasn't just fear anymore. This wasn't just trauma resurfacing. This was war. I won't lie to you. When I left Daniel's house that night, I told myself it was over. Not because I wanted it to be, but because I was terrified of wanting him too much. He already had a whole life planned in his mind. A neat, arranged future, tied with expectations, culture, family duty, and the weight of everyone else's dreams. And me? I was the complication that wasn't supposed to happen. For days, we didn't speak. Not a call, not a text, nothing. But the silence, it wasn't peaceful. It was loud. It pressed on my chest every morning, reminding me that something unfinished was still breathing between us. And the truth, people don't miss what they never cared about. Daniel and I were trying to starve a fire that was already burning. Then the unexpected happened. On a random Thursday evening, when the sky looked tired and bruised with grey clouds, my phone lit up. Daniel. I stared at his name for a long moment. My heartbeat doing ridiculous things in my chest. When I finally answered, his voice came through, low, steady, but trembling at the edges. Can we talk? Just 3 words. But they were the kind of words that rearrange everything inside you. I agreed. He arrived at my place around 8 p.m. No smile, no charm, no pretending. He looked defeated, as if he had spent days fighting something he couldn't win against. He stepped inside, closed the door, and leaned against it like he was holding himself together. I tried, he said softly, avoiding my eyes. I tried to stay away. My throat tightened. He finally looked up, really looked at me, and nothing in his eyes was confused. Only certain. Only raw. And it's not working. I can't pretend I don't feel what I feel. But love isn't just about feeling. I tease about fear. I should have run to him. But instead, I stepped back. Not because I doubted him, but because I doubted the world around him. Because I remembered his mother, his father, his fiancé waiting like a ticking time bomb. The expectations, the pressure. Daniel, I whispered. Wanting me is one thing. Choosing me is another. He closed his eyes, as if the truth hurt more than anything. I know, he said. I know what I'm risking. He took a long breath. But if I have to live the rest of my life pretending that I didn't feel this, that I didn't meet you, then what's the point? What kind of life is that? His voice cracked on the last word. And something in me broke open. Because this wasn't a man playing with my heart. This was a man caught between love and loyalty, and losing parts of himself in the middle. The world starts pushing back, just when I thought we might finally breathe. Destiny reminded us that it wasn't done testing us. The next morning, Daniel's mother called him. She wasn't calm. She wasn't soft-spoken. She had found out he'd been distant. Found out he hadn't been spending time with the woman they expected him to marry. Found out there might be someone else. And mothers have instincts that can cut through walls. That evening, Daniel called me again, his voice hollow. My mother wants to see me. She's asking questions. Fear rose in my chest. Do you want to stop? I asked quietly. I won't hold you if this is too much. There was a long silence. A silence full of heavy choices. No, he finally whispered. I'm not letting this go. Not again. Not this time. But I heard the worry in his voice. The panic under the bravery. And I knew. Love was choosing us, yes. But the world was choosing against us. But here's the strange thing: when the world pushes you away from someone, that's when you start to understand just how deeply your heart has already picked them. Over the next few days, something shifted. Daniel stopped hiding how he felt. He stopped pretending. He stopped avoiding the truth. He texted me every morning. He called every night. He showed up without excuses, without fear in his eyes, even if fear lived somewhere inside him. He didn't say the word love yet, but he didn't need to. The way he looked at me, the way he held my hands like they were something sacred, the way he breathed easier when I was near him. That was love. Unspoken but undeniable. A love that wasn't planned, wasn't approved, wasn't easy, but a love that found us anyway. And then, the moment everything changed on a warm Saturday night, Daniel's mother sent him a message. "We need to talk. All of us." His chest tightened. My heart nearly stopped. Because conversations like that don't happen for fun. They happen when something is about to break, or when a truth can no longer be ignored. Daniel looked at me, fear and determination wrestling inside him. "This is it," he said quietly. "No more hiding." He squeezed my hands, not lightly, not uncertainly, but like a man preparing for war. And in his voice, there was something fierce. "I'm going to tell them about you, if you're ready." Daniel went to speak with his family, felt heavier than any storm I'd ever lived through. Quietly that morning. His hands trembled just a little, the kind of trembling you only see when someone is about to change the entire direction of their life. He stood in front of me for a long moment. Affection. Stillness. Memorizing me. Carrying me with him. "Trust me," he said softly. It trusted my own heartbeat. Didn't remove fear. Out of my door, something in my chest went with him. I sat in the living room with her arms folded tight. Paced slowly, disappointment radiating from him like heat. They expected him to marry. Amanda sat quietly, her jaw stiff, her eyes burning. In, exhaled, and greeted them. Didn't waste time. "Enough games. Your mother says you've been distracted. That there's someone." Someone sounded like a curse. Leaned forward. "Are you seeing another woman? Someone we didn't approve?" Eyes glistened, not with sadness, but with warning. "Don't flinch," he said simply. Exploded through the room. Voice rose immediately. "After everything, after all the plans, after all we've arranged for your future." Stood up sharply. "You've been distant." Followed hard, but his voice stayed steady. "Any of this. But I won't lie about it. I met someone, and I care about her." Face tightened. "About what you want. Marriage is about stability, structure, tradition. You don't throw away a solid future for some." In, calmly but firmly. "I'm not choosing a future that requires me to be unhappy." Asked. "Since when has family responsibility become a burden to you?" "Burden," Daniel said. "My whole life. I can be loyal to you, and still be loyal to my own heart." Voice finally cracked. "Her? Over me? Over us? Over years of planning?" To her gently. "I told myself we would work, that feelings would grow. But they didn't. And it's not your fault. You deserve someone who wants you fully, not someone who's pretending." And trembled. Anger, humiliation, heartbreak blending together. Without another word. "At home. Isn't done. Love will feed you? Will love bring peace when life becomes difficult? What do you even know about this girl?" Slowly. "Feel alive. She listens to me. She understands me. She makes me better. From a good family. We prayed for you to marry. Our circle. Know her well enough to risk everything. quietly. I know her well enough. And she's worth it. Shook his head. Foolish mistake. Between them, the people who raised him, shaped him, loved him in their own way, and said words he had prepared his whole life to say. I'm asking for your approval. I'm asking for your respect. His face shattered into disbelief. You would disobey us for her? Ed. Obeying you. I'm choosing my own life. And I hope someday you'll accept that. Not anymore. Indeed. To convince him. Fell silent. A silence filled with disappointment, confusion, fear, and the sound of generational walls cracking. Walked out of that house feeling like a part of him had been ripped open, but also strangely healed. First time he had said his truth aloud. Straight to me. At the door, he looked exhausted, emotionally drained, eyes red from holding back more than tears. What happened? Inside, closed the door behind him, and pulled me into his chest, not gently, not carefully, but like someone running home after a long war. Broke against my shoulder. I told them. I chose you. Frightened. Wrapped around him. The way he had held his fears all week. For a long moment, we stood there, breathing in the quiet victory, the pain, the relief, the terrifying beauty of it all. After the storm, when we finally sat down, he explained everything, the confrontation, the questions, the anger, the silence. I whispered, about this? About me? About us? I'm sure. Gently, this wasn't a decision I made today. It's one I've been making ever since I met you. That this man who had fought his world for me without asking for anything in return. And something in my heart settled. Everything was solved. Love had stopped whispering. Loudly now. Love wins. Quickly. Scars. All odds. Free from family pressure. From fear. Together. Enough. Love doesn't knock. Wait for the right moment. Ask for permission. And by fate will find you anyway. The world tries to stop it. Walk in opposite directions. Everything says it's impossible. Comes. Chooses. Stays.